Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Leo in March 2021. What's going on, Leo? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, I felt a little playful coming into the energy. Welcome to your reading, Leo, for March. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure. Take good care of yourselves and those that you know and love. Extend some of that good care and that niceness and that kindness and that love and affection to people you don't like so well or don't even know so well, maybe even a perfect stranger. The world needs good juju, and I encourage you and everybody else to put that good juju out there as much as you can, as much as it makes you comfortable, okay? Leo, no other announcements here in March, no other things to add to the intro, so let's get into it. Anything you want, it's already in the description box, timestamps down there. Information on how to get a personal reading with me is down there. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I will be reviving my use of it in March, so you have the link for that down below if you want to follow me over there for the occasional interpretation of some oracle cards, okay? And speaking of oracle cards, I've twerked this a little bit. Instead of doing an outcome, we're just going to get an oracle message from one of the 4 decks that I've set aside here on the table. So yeah, that's pretty much what you have to expect. Let's get into it. We're going to start off with these 3 cards that came out in the pre-shuffle for you, or the off-camera shuffle, I should say. So you got the Judgment card in reverse, secondary major for, my God, am I going to blank here? Always be blanking on these major kind of cards. Judgment, secondary major for Scorpio. Thank you. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. 2 of Cups. And the Strength card, major arcana for you, Leo. So you are the Leo, but you could also be dealing with another Leo. Leo could play it in heavily in your own astrological chart or the chart of someone you may be dealing with. Take your pick. You know, don't hold on too high to any sign that I mention other than your own, okay? But what do we have here, Leo? I feel something in some of your cases is kind of DOA, dead on arrival, you know? Or no revival, dead on no revival, something like that they're giving to me. Because this Judgment is in reverse, and I feel like that's a big problem. The fact that it's shown up in reverse is a big problem to what you or someone else feels could be this copacetic, very nurturing, very connected, very beneficial, loving, you know, whatever it is, relationship. 2 of Cups, in many readers' style or interpretation of the 2 of Cups, can represent a soulmate energy. I will give you the caveat, the typical caveat that I give here on my channel. This could be a soulmate relationship that I'm talking about. But 1, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. 2, it doesn't have to last your entire lifetime. And number 3, it doesn't mean that it's going to be sort of like this cookie cutter rainbow, sprinkles and sunshine kind of relationship. I'm, you know, reading up on it, but I'm of the mindset that many soulmate relationships that are being revealed to us around this time, not just 2021 or March in 2021, but like this time as in like the past 20 years and the next possible 100 or so years, basically your lifetime, might not be the type of, you know, soulmate relationship that is highly romanticized about in movies and in books and stuff. So I challenge people to expand on their use of soulmate or their perception of soulmate. Again, it's not always romantic. This could be your best friend. This could be your sister. This could be your next door neighbor. You know, it could be anybody. But there is, for some, this idea that something could happen here, something could work here, things could really come together. But it's not easy. The Strength card, I think, is signaling not necessarily to you, Leo, but the strength of a Leo, period. The quality of a Leo, or some of the qualities of Leo, talk to perseverance, talk to overcoming, talk to braving, excuse me, or facing adversity, right? In the traditional tarot, you would see on the Strength card a woman opening up a lion's mouth, opening up its jaws, and kind of like literally putting herself in harm's way. In this deck, we see this luchador wrestling with this dragon-like figure, and so there's like this showmanship aspect of it. Maybe you are a showman or a showwoman, like literally, maybe you are an entertainer, and you do have a particular person that you want in your life as a friend, as a lover, as a business partner, whatever, but you or the aspects of your character that showman, that stepping out into center spotlight, or that even, I find that sometimes the qualities of Leo are very off-putting to others, and Leos stand there like, well, what's the problem? And it's not about ego, as in like, oh, what I'm doing is correct for you and everybody else. It's more of like the positive, optimistic, anything is possible. Let's put on a good show, or let's roll up our sleeves and do the hard work. There's something about a can-do attitude that's showing up in a nuanced way in your life that you or someone else possesses is proving to be difficult for somebody else to handle. That's what this feels like. Somebody else is sure, even with hard work, even with facing adversity, we can make a real go of something, or we have something special here, right? In many of your cases, this is like a business relationship or a business proposal, and other people are just like, they're not believing it. It sounds too sensational. Again, with the artwork here being a luchador, a Mexican wrestler, and just the idea of wrestling, period. If you look at the WWE or any other, big time international, or at least recognizable wrestling brand, it's sensational. It's a show. I mean, yes, it involves a lot of coordination and it's real athleticism and all that kind of stuff. And these guys who are big and bulky, they don't get that way by eating Cocoa Puffs on the couch every day. Like, no, these people really put in hard work to put on something that looks like fantastical. They go home with bumps and bruises and like injured backs and like broken limbs and shit like that. And I mean, how could they not when they're like, elbow diving from like 50 feet up in the air? That's for entertainment purposes. People pay good money to see that stuff. And what's the result? A bruised and battered body. Now, that's not me saying, Leo, you want to put yourself in harm's way. That's not me saying anyone else. You could, this is a general, it can go vice versa. Whoever's over here, it's not to say this person wants to put themselves in harm's way just to be hurt. No. What's the end result? A wonderful show. A deep connection with the Two of Cups. Even though it might be hard to do it. To get here, we might need to take on a few bumps and bruises to get here. And someone's like, I'm in. Let's do it. Someone else is like, I don't know. And here's the problem. Am I interpreting that wrong? This is how you or someone sees it. The other person is the problem. And that's me objectively being on the outside, because I can't choose sides. I don't know where you are, Leo. I don't know the details here, but there's one side that thinks it's the other side's fault. And it feels like a dynamic mostly between two people, but because of how many people... Look at all the people. Let me hold it up right so you can see it. Look at all the people that are in the Judgment card. That's a lot of people. That's a family unit, specifically. Or more than likely, it's a family unit. And that's the problem here. Family is in the way. Now, that is not quick advice to say deuces on the family dynamic for you or anybody else. Not at all. But that's legit what's happening. Is there's a family dynamic or an emphasis on family or interference is the word I want, interference, my nose is itchy. Interference of family members with good intention perhaps, but in some cases maybe not great intention, but there's this presence and an emphasis or interference revolving around family that is a problem here in terms of the soulmate relationship, and or it's within family. Like, let's say it the other way, because I don't want it to be a you versus somebody else, because that's not all of your stories. Because again, a soulmate is, number one, not always a romantic partner, and is not always somebody who... It's not always a relationship that is short-term in your life. Sometimes it is a very long-term relationship. Like, my normal caveat is it's not somebody who is in your life forever. The counter to that is some of you do have soulmates that have been in your life your entire life, like a family member. You know what I mean? So let's say this was a family dynamic, and running with this motif of the wrestler over here on this strength card. Maybe you do want to be in show business, Leo. Maybe you've got the personality for it in terms of this being a wrestling card, or anything else. It doesn't have to be wrestling. Maybe you're like dying to be like a volleyball player, or like play on the Olympic badminton team, whatever. You feel you've got the goods to make it work. Your family is very much like, nah, we don't approve. We don't see it happening for you. We're worried. Like in many of your cases, it's not even like it's a hating thing. It's not like they are not supporting you. It's that they worry so much that they dissuade you. Or, there's something here about like hypochondriac, dare I say? Like thinking the worst, believing nothing good can come from trying to accomplish this thing with bruises and earning scars. Because again, it's like the benefit for someone on this side of the story, Leo, is like, well, it's going to work out because I'm going to put in 150%. Whoever the person I want them to put in 150%, and then we're going to make this a success. Like for some of you, this is legit like a business thing. Like we got to strike while the iron is hot. My ear is going a little numb or deaf here. So like this is someone is very passionately desiring this thing. And the other side, they are less so because possibly of interference, because possibly of their own fears. If it's not about interfering family, there's something about like not feeling aligned, like not feeling in step with their spiritual self. Because the other thing about this judgment energy, and especially in this particular depiction, but other depictions are very similar. We do have like this idea of like a religious ceremony, clearly a funeral, and calling back something that is buried, a revival, what do you call it? A rapturing, right? That's in the artwork here and a little bit in the traditional meaning of this card. And it's in the reverse as it showed up in your reading, Leo. So somebody I think doesn't know how to connect with their spiritual / passionate side. They don't understand. I said that before about the Leo archetype. They don't understand the positioning of whoever's on this side. It doesn't have to be Leo over here. It could be the other person, okay? But whoever's over here, they don't understand that enthusiasm. They don't understand how you can be so sure of what you are moving towards. Like for them, it's like, well, there's no guarantee that's going to happen. This person over here is like, yeah, I know, but I want it so bad. It will happen. Like that doesn't compute to this person. Possibly that's how they think. It doesn't compute. They might be very logical. They might be very rational. And so as a soul connection, Leo, there's a lesson in here for both people. You're meant to see each other as teacher and student and vice versa. When you teach them something, they're meant to learn. When you're meant to be taught, you become the student and they become the teacher. You get what I mean? Like it's a symbiotic relationship, but both parties to a certain extent haven't acknowledged that, and that is also a problem. What else is happening in this situation for Leo? Please show me. I gotta tell you, Leo, I feel like this has been going on for a while. This storyline. 2 together? Yep. 2? Yes, like that and that. Okay. I feel like this story has been ongoing, but on and off for a while. It's possibly even metamorphosized for some of you. Like, this is a embedded story, is how they're making me feel. Embedded. You are familiar with this storyline. Deep cut here for some of you, Leo. This is not the same person. When you started this journey, for some of you, this is a very spiritual thing. When you started this journey, this was a totally different person, but it's still the same soul story over and over again with different people. So you might, again, have this idea to be a great showman, a great athlete, a great comedian, whatever. Somebody who's in the spotlight. I'm getting a little bit from that strength card. Some of you, that's your greatest dream, is to be an entertainer, right? And you've had this dream since you were maybe 11 years old, 15 years old, whatever. Now you're 34 years old. And that bug, that push to go out there and be an entertainer is here. But when you were 11, the person who first was just like, I don't know about that, was like your teacher in school, okay? So that was the first soulmate that you had that was just like giving you this sober reality of how hard it's going to be for you and all of the struggles and the work you're going to have to put in. And you're like, okay, that's right. And then years go by and now you're 21 years old and you go to an open mic night in college, and the next person who's showing you that it's a bad idea or is trying to wake you up and sober you up to reality, Leo, is like your girlfriend or your boyfriend at that time, or somebody who owned like the local club. Like, I've seen a lot of people come into this club, Leo. I've seen them bomb on stage and they lose themselves and da-da-da. Like, these cautionary tales throughout your life have been told to you, yet you persist to want the dream of having some type of soul connection, specifically with a person, or to create something like, again, like business, like creating a brand or something like that. And now you're like at, what did I say, like 38 or whatever, however old you are right now, the story is back again, but someone else is playing this role. Do you get what I mean? So it's the same story, different castings. It's like a reboot of an old show. Everybody's been recasted, but the story is the same. The plot is the same. It's very interesting. One more card to fill out the next line of the story for Leo, please. One more card to give me the next part. One more card? Yeah, one more card to give me the next line of the story for Leo, please. One more card. That's not for everybody, by the way. Page of Pentacles as it flipped into the reverse. Oh, and we want the bottom of the deck. So let's move everything over. Should have done that before. That's okay. And again, we'll get a oracle card as the outcome or the advice for you guys. So oh my God, what? Okay, so we're going in heavy swords energy. Okay, so Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. 10 of Swords. And then we got the Page of Swords as the overall energy. And then to fill out the bottom, a little bit of Earth with the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You could be dealing with any sign I mentioned, but you don't have to be. So in many of your cases, Leo, in your life or in the life of your soulmate, whoever that is, your friend, the person you're interested in dating, the person that you're interested in starting a business with, whatever, there is this highly critical figure, Queen of Swords. Now, how the criticism happens, the tone, the words chosen, the volume of the speech, it's all nuanced, it's all specific to your situation. But what I'm sensing is somebody has, okay, it's like somebody has, yes. All right, think of it this way. I feel like, Leo, in some of your cases, your soulmate or whoever this person is in the Two of Cups with you, or the potential person that can be in the Two of Cups. I don't know that they're there. They could be. This is very potential energy, so it's not really, bankable. But I feel like whoever's on the other side of this story, they have their own connection, a previous engagement, so to speak, or literally, with a Queen of Swords type. Male, female, air sign or not, it does not matter. But somebody who has high expectations, a lot of criticism, keeps a watchful eye on the situation, has a lot of opinions, and definitely also carries influence, and can wield that sword if they want to, but in this very moment, they're not. Or at least how they appear in this card. The sword could be whipped from off of her back and used as a weapon, but right now it's just a nice little armrest. Nice little, behind the head, overhead push, just chilling. Why did I say it that way? Just chilling on their mouth, so to speak. So basically, when this person says jump, someone else says how high. Now, if that is where your soulmate is at this moment, or this person has some type of influence or connection to your person, Leo, you might as well forget it. And I'm not trying to say totally flush this down the toilet, because this is just a snapshot, a snippet of your entire life's journey. Tarot really, if you think about just the seconds that you're alive, this tarot reading, which is going to go on for about 30 some, maybe 40 something minutes, is actually only encompassing, in terms of like your life from start to finish, in terms of, temporal time, this is probably only, a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? Do you get what I mean? Like if you're alive for 1 billion seconds or some shit like that, this tarot reading is talking about 10 of those 1 billion seconds. You know what I mean? So the reason I put it to you that way is somebody here, you, Leo, or the other person, needs to not focus so much on this. Because the timing isn't there. The commitment or the availability isn't there for somebody. Because again, previous contractual agreements, previous engagements. And this person, Queen of Swords, gotta tell you, feels like a influential mother. Influential leader or something. My nose. Every time I come over here, it starts to itch. So this person has a lot of clout. They might know it, and they weigh heavily on that. Like they lean on that. They leverage their influence in your circumstance. And that in itself is another soul contract, another karmic connection that has nothing to do with you, Leo. You and this person are in opposite corners. And sometimes they connect in my readings, or other times they show opposition. So you and this person, not that you're rivals, not that you and this person are even enemies. You might not even know who this is, and they might not even know you, but they connect to your person, right? And they have leverage there. And the Queen of Swords, as an archetype in tarot, is not going to relinquish power just cause. Is not going to get away from being an influence on another person just cause. Because in many cases, this person feels they're doing the right thing. If this was you and your best friend when you were in the 6th grade, you had the best idea for something, and now that you're 29 years old, you're like, okay, let me call up my best friend from 6th grade. Hey, it's me, Leo. Remember that thing we talked about? Let's do it. And that person is just like, yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's do it. 29 years old. You guys are totally full-on adults. This person might have a wife, a husband, a sister, a grandmother, whoever, anybody, being like, who was that on the phone? Oh, it was Leo. We're gonna forge ahead with our bright idea that's gonna unify us, and we're gonna make something beautiful together. A product, a showbiz idea, whatever. And this person's just like, I don't know, I think that's kind of crazy. And again, the nuance is different. Some of them, they'll be ranting and raving. Are you kidding me? I told you back then that was a bad idea. You will never succeed. Da-da-da-da-da. And like, there's a heavy criticism. For some, it's like railing. It's relentless. In other cases, it's casual, just like I said it. I don't know if that's a good idea. That little scoffing is enough to tear this person's heart out. This person over here who, come on, spiritually, they don't know that they're in control of their own life. Spiritually speaking, they know day in, day out, I clothe myself, I leave the house, I'm in control of my own body, I make my own choices, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, your physical life you're in control of. Who's in charge of your spiritual life? This person. This person has, someone over here has relinquished. I told you, this person here, they're not going to give up power and influence just cause. They're very well aware they have it. Or they take for granted that they have it and someone has given it to them. Oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, Leo. This is, worry about yourself. Long and the short of this, worry about yourself. You can't, this person, whoever's over here, whoever is on this left side of the board, they, 10 of Swords. Now, this I feel is self-betrayal. Because that was what I was just reacting to when I was snapping my fingers and like, oh, it's a whole thing, Leo. This is what I'm reacting to. Self-betrayal. When you don't have connection with, let me tell you, I'm not, when you don't recognize that you have several bodies, several versions of yourself, several levels or partitions of yourself, however you can conceive of it. There's physical you. There's mental, emotional you. There's spiritual you. There's celestial you. There's previous you. again, I don't know what you believe in, and I don't know how far you would agree with me in this or how we would intersect or overlap in our beliefs. But somebody here, they just think they exist here on Earth. That's the problem. And, let's quote it. That's the problem. It might not be a problem for them. They might be very happy and very content to live that way. For you, Leo, or whoever believes in the soulmate portion, or whoever is aware of that, or is at least watching this video, it might sound interesting to you. You might not be like, what the hell, and like previous lives and mental self, physical self, emotional, like that doesn't make sense to me. Fine. But you realize you're not alone in everything you do. Or rather, what you do isn't necessarily only influenced by your physical life on Earth, your physical body. This thing, where my bones and my muscle and my skin are, and then where my voice is projecting from, that's my physical body. I have a mental body that works through the physical body. I have a spiritual body that works through the physical body. All of it is interconnected, right? But you or them might not conceive of that. That's fine. But there's one side that sees themselves or sees the situation from a bigger scope. Maybe not a bigger scope. How can I say that? A higher perspective, maybe? A different perspective. Let's just say it that way. A different perspective. And somebody over here has a very here's my perspective. It's like this. And that's a self-betrayal. Because tarot, like any other esoteric or mystic art, does not limit humanity, especially consciousness, to a thin, very narrow lane of possibilities and explanations and reasoning. But somebody here, that's it. This is how far I go with how I conceive of my life overall, purpose on Earth, etc., etc., etc. And that's possibly influenced by one particular person or a group of other people. So this person over here acquiesces, relinquishes, gives over their power to recognize and know that they are divine, whatever that means. They are a cosmic being, whatever that means to you or them. So that's Ten of Swords, self-betrayal. It doesn't feel like that. In many of their cases, they don't feel betrayed. They don't feel that they've let themselves down or they've sabotaged anything. But I tell you what, they're probably not happy. In the deep, deep, deep down, they're not a happy person. Over here, if this is you, Leo, happy. Happy. They're here, they're here, they're here. Not so happy. Okay? And it's not good versus bad. It's not one side is winning, the other side is losing. Because again, Leo or whoever's over here is feeling like, man, I could have more. I could create this. I could have this. Blah, 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 blah. There's like joy in the pursuit of the dream. And there's some karmic lesson in there. There's some soul lesson in there for you, Leo, or whoever else. So this Ten of Swords, I think, is a self-betrayal that is unrecognized as such. It's a 10, so it's showing a cumulative turnover point. I don't know why I'm phrasing it that way. That's not right. But whatever. It's like a mini ending, or like it's a considerable turning point, perhaps. It could be kind of nasty, meaning someone might have a very sharp, because it's next to the Queen of Swords, someone might have a very sharp awakening about this situation, or an awareness like, oh man, my whole life I've let this one person or a series of people tell me what to do. I realized that my whole life I've let other people kind of make core decisions for me, or hold me back, or make me feel I would be risking too much to pursue something with this person, to make me feel like I would be foolish to do it. Or not even necessarily about the person. Someone realizes, man, I don't really see myself except for in this little box. Like I said before about like the different bodies, like the physical life, I understand it. What's my spiritual belief? What's my philosophy on life? What's my philosophy on God, like there's like a deeper sense of self that someone doesn't connect to, and they are realizing, man, I was kind of ignoring that, or it wasn't encouraged in me. And so like, there's a little bit of a loss here with the Ten of Swords. Like feeling lost, or feeling like you've lost yourself because of influence or because of lack of exploration or something like that. Okay. Oh, Leo, we finally got somewhere with that. Now, final card in your main message is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. In some of your cases, Earth sign energy, again, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you and they, I think, share this. You know, whatever side you're on, Leo, this is a shared energy of no real plans, you know? There's a lot of want and desire for whoever's up here. It could be you, Leo. Again, it could be the other person. There's a lot of desire, but no actual plans being proposed. You know, if you've been shot back by the same person, or you've been shot down in the same industry over and over and over again, the Page of Pentacles being in reverse is like no new ideas, or no practical way to present this or pursue this differently. You know, if this was in the upright, I could see a little bit more of the cogs turning, trying to find solutions, thinking of things, being smart, being savvy, being a little bit clever, a little bit creative. I could see that. In the reverse, it's like, for lack of a better phrasing or whatever the hell is I'm about to say, it's like it's like, well, I don't know. You know, it's like being stuck. And I didn't mean that in any insulting way, what I just said, or what I just emoted there. But it's like, really, it's just like, I don't know. It's like scratching your head, or it's feeling like, you know, hands are tied or something like that. And again, you both share this energy, you and this other person. I feel, well, let's talk about the overall energy, and then maybe more will come out with the oracle card. But I feel like, Leo, this light that's up here, this brightness, I gotta be honest, it feels like it's dimming. It feels like bad terminology, but this feels like it's on life support. This connection, this inspiration, whatever, it's on life support, you know? Overall energy, Page of Swords. New information is necessary, possibly where there hasn't been communication, or there's been a lot of silent, like, gathering of information. It needs to be disseminated. I feel you, Leo, you might have learned a thing or two. This person might have learned a thing or two, or you're in the process of learning, in the process of gathering new information, in the process of seeing things differently. That's not necessarily always the way the Page of Swords is, but it's like a different way of interpreting what you've seen, interpreting the knowledge that you have, or utilizing it in a different way, right? You know, maybe when you were 11 or in the 6th grade or whatever it is, maybe you, like I said earlier, you wanted to be a stand-up comedian. And this is something that I've, you know, casually know about because I do enjoy stand-up comedy. The way in which people can get into comedy is different than in the days of somebody like, you know, Richard Pryor, or even like Jerry Seinfeld, or, you know, Whoopi Goldberg, or any huge person who did comedy for a living back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. To be a comedian today, or to break into the industry, is different. You know, if you listen to the commentary of a lot of those famous comedians that I mentioned, or even others, they'll say, oh, I was working nightclubs and I was doing this and that, blah, 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 blah. In this day and age, you can strike into stand-up comedy and never have to leave your hometown. You can do a bunch of sets at a local comedy club or an open mic night or whatever, and post them online. And suddenly, you're really funny. For good or for worse, that's the world we live in today. That's the assimilation, or the use of new information. So when you were 6th grade thinking, oh, I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to play these clubs, blah, 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 and then I'll do a stint down in Baltimore, and then I'm going to travel out to LA, da, 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 da. And now that you're 24 or 29 or however old, and you still have that dream, like, there's even like people I've seen who are comedians, and they sit in their car and they do a comedy routine and they post it online, and they've got millions of followers, and they're on a podcast. There's many ways to be a comedian today that didn't exist 20 years ago. You get what I mean? So there's a reinterpretation of the dream. Ooh, something like that. I hope that makes sense to you. Let's stop dragging this on. Leo, what a reading. Which deck are we going to use for Leo's oracle message, please? Energy Oracle, I think. Yep. Okay. So let's see the Oracle message for Leo, and then we're going to be done. Oracle message for Leo in March 2021. Are we taking that? Yes. Patience. Well, well, well. Leo's favorite concept. Patience. Definitely just art-wise or illustration-wise, it has some overtones with the Temperance card in the tarot deck. So if that resonates with you in some type of way, take it to the bank, do what you want with it. And it's card 16, add those numbers together, it's a 7. Patience, though. So for some of you, now listen, this has also been coming up, Leo. And again, I caution you heavily. Some of you, this is calling for you to be patient when it comes to this person. But more than anything, that's only for a few of you. That's only for a few of you. For others of you, or the majority of you, the message is to be patient with yourself, be patient with the circumstances. Okay? I caution you very heavily if you think you need to be patient with a person. Don't put your life on hold for nobody. Nobody. Don't do that. That's nope. In most of your cases, that is not the way patience is meant to be interpreted. But, for a few of you, you kind of know. It's not like you're hopeful, like you have been given inclination, or excuse me, you've been given information, you've been given insight by the person. They've said, be patient with me. Or they've shown you, I've asked you to be patient with me. They've come back later and shown you, hey, these are the things I'm working on. Here are the ideas I'm bringing forward. I can't fully, get there with you yet, Leo, but here's what I think we could do once I'm ready to get in on the action. I hope you get what I mean. If you have had nothing from this person other than well, wouldn't that be nice? That's not who you need to be patient for. Okay? Now, patience in general. Leo, be patient with yourself. Many of you, you need to get a routine. I don't know that a routine is there, but some of you maybe explore or work with guardian angels. I am not an aficionado in that area. It doesn't necessarily resonate with me all the time, but some of you guardian angels, something like that is very important to you, or it could be helpful to you. Others of you, breathing exercises would be important, but also, Leo, I suppose, don't fly off the handle could be here for a few of you. A few of you might have a little bit of anger stored up or a little bit of frustration stored up. Release that, transmute that as best you can. Do not take it out on this person or anybody else. Your frustrations or your disappointment. If you have to express it in a constructive way. Don't be destructive is the sense that I'm getting here. There's a potential, all Leos have it, to really level a person, not in a physical fight, but really let a person have it. And I feel like for many of you Leos, that's not the name of the game. You wouldn't be serving yourself or the situation if you were to do that. So, as well as being patient with yourself and the situation at hand, it feels like you should also have a little bit of compassion. And you see how she has sort of this crown of crystals, and how that top crystal is a different color than the rest. Some of you do some work on your crown chakra, work through your crown chakra. Something like that is coming through, okay? Leo, that is your reading for March. So far, you're the longest reading because this was so interesting. Anyway, if you like this reading, please or drop a like down below. Leave a comment, share it if you choose, share your story, how it resonated. That would be super cool. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, friends, make sure you hit the subscribe button before you go, and also hit that notification bell as well, okay? Leo, if you want a reading from me and how to go about getting it, you can find that information down below. And I will soon be back, thank you, with your mid-March readings. Until then, Leo, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.